Welcome back to Style Esports Season 16 playoffs. We are here for a semi-final now between Mint Gaming and Mythic Esports. We apologize for the delay as we were having some issues with our spectator bot, but Shinkari is here. I am Llama, and we're still here to bring you all the action in this pivotal second to last game in the semifinals of our Ionia division.
Yeah, these are two very well seasoned teams we've got going on here tonight. Mint Gaming on the blue side for game one, up against Mythic Esport on the red side here. Mythic, a team, if you've been around the block before with Style Esports, should be a recognizable team name here. Both these teams, do or die moment for both of them after both of them coming off their last week games of having to basically do their rematch against the teams that knocked them into the lower bracket, and now here they are trying to keep the dream alive for one more match.
And it's one last best of three tonight, Shinkari, to see who is going to be facing Elysium Dawn by October 9th here for the finals. That'll be a best of five coming up soon. But yeah, this is, as you said, this is the one last match. These teams have had quite the run in the lower bracket through that knockout stage, taking down the enemies that took them down originally here. And we missed a little bit of the draft between these two teams. But as champions are getting locked in, we're starting to see what these teams might be cooking up for game number one tonight in this best of three.
Yeah, and it's going to be very important to note, how this kind of sets the tone for this game here. We kind of already have two incredibly high scaling teams here, right? We've got Jinx and Maokai for Mint, and we've got Tom Kench and Senna for Mythic. Like, dang, this is, and especially Belveth as well. This is a game that they're like, yeah, let's go 40 minutes, ready to go.
It is. I mean, and
So
then those
interesting.
mid laners are with that too, right? Vlad is here. Like, they're just want to farm out and get to 3 or 4 items. Like, yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a late game slugfest.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for for these two teams here. I definitely like the Poppy pick that Minty or sorry Mint brought with their squad here. Super excited for that pick for sure. Lots of dashes on mythical meanies or the further mythic Eastern. Sorry, I'm looking at the draft law, and their draft law has Minty Flesh and mythical meanies, and it's throwing me off just a little bit. But yeah, for Mythic here, they do have like a decent amount of dashes here. That Poppy pick is really good. It came at about phase two, pick one here for Mint Gaming here. So very good job by them.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was definitely that response into some of that jungle pressure, right? Belveth, as that, every quadrant you can be dashing in here. And so that's when Poppy said, all right, we're picking that. And like you mentioned, into the Azir as well, that can really stop that Shurima shuffle onto this backline immobile carry, especially with like a Maokai support. Like, you don't have that enchanter that Jinx wants to pair up with. So how do you get around that? You just provide more peel for her.
Yeah, and that's the best thing to do too, right? If you can't buff the Jinx, you gotta protect the Jinx. And Maokai and Poppy are very good at both doing that. Very solid disengaged champions, right? The Q from Maokai insanely good. He's got that point and click snare as well, which can line up pretty well with how Jinx Chompers works if they want to use that in lane. But this is still just a very interesting setup to already begin with here. So very good job with these drafts so far. I'm excited mostly to see how this Kha'Zix is going to play. This kind of a jungler
Yeah.
we haven't really seen a whole lot of recently, but it is something that is going to be a very interesting pick for sure. Very mobile, high damage, likes to 1v1 a whole lot. There's a part of me that kind of expects to see Kha'Zix living in Belveth's jungle just because that
Mhm.
isolation gives a lot of early game damage for Kha'Zix, whereas Belveth kind of wants to scale, wants to get that violet, that in order to get those stacks up ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kha'Zix can be a little bit feast or famine as well, right, Shinkari? Like,
hmm
if you don't get rolling, if you don't get to that assassin level that Kha'Zix is capable of, you fall flat a little bit in that later stages of the game. If you're building lethality and you don't have the damage and the priority to assassinate someone like Belveth, Azir, or Senna, it becomes more challenging to be an effective player in 5v5 team fights. So then you got to play a little bit more in the bushes, try to sneak around a little more, try to get some of those assassinations on maybe a side laner, Mordekaiser splitting or something like that here,
Yeah.
because Kha'Zix, if they don't get rolling, will be a little bit less effective in these team fights as they break out later on in this late game skirmish heavy composition that both of these teams have drafted for game one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to for sure to see how this game progresses. Like you said, and like we've been touting, these are two very late game team comps here. And once it gets late into the game, how are they going to fare against each other?
Well, it's just going to be a matter of seconds until we find out for ourselves as well. There's a prediction that is live, so make sure you get your channel points in on who's going to win game number one between MYNT Gaming and Mythic Esports in this best of three. Just on the other side of this very short break, we will be finding out for ourselves as well. See you in just a moment. We are onto the rift for the first time this evening here between on Style Esports between MYNT Gaming and Mythic Esports. These two teams have fought their way up through this knockout stage for this last important match before the finals. This is the last BO3 of our Ionia division in season number 16. And all 10 champs are on the rift. Looks like we're going to be seeing the blue side here start by setting up a little 5-stack. It is going to be that side of MYNT Gaming. Maybe moving for something a little bit sneaky, but not finding out anyone quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, their level 1 is pretty decent. I mean, they have a point-and-click snare, which is pretty good, but nothing like Nautilus, Braum, or Blitzcrank levels here that is really going to catapult them into the lead if they're able to find anyone. So, if anything, I would just assume that they were just going in for vision and walking out, but it looks like they're just placing some defensive warding here. Probably a good idea, but once again, not either really any side here has a particular advantage in these very, very early levels outside of maybe Perklo on the Kha'Zix, but that's about it.
Yeah, definitely has an advantage. It looks like this late ward from Kazwerdy is going to get punished at least a little bit there. Has the Aftershock to, or the Guardian to absorb a little bit of damage. But yeah, so that, I know it's going to be traded, but like you said, you know, maybe some damage early on from Perklo. I'm really going to be looking at these junglers on their sequencing here because Bel'Veth needs level 6, needs to get some early levels, and I want to see if she can just be on a full clear rotation here on all of these camps. It's going to be another engage in the bot lane, though.
Yeah,
It's going
Kazwerdy.
to be Kazwerdy going to half health.
Yeah, Kazwerdy, they need to pressure this Tahm Kench as much as possible. He's just so much HP, and if you just leave him alone, and this is the time to do it too. Like in level 1 and even in some cases level 2, that Tahm Kench not gonna have that gray health. This is the best time to be laying in as much chip damage as possible because Kazwerdy is gonna have to chug those potions. Like you can kind of see already, he's out of potions. Right, there's nothing left to heal this big catfish. Right, so he's just going to be eating a lot of damage. So they're already behind on levels here.
But Inigo's going to be the one needing some damage from the top laner. Lolo with a 3-camp gank in the top side. Inigo Montoya's in trouble, saving that flashed, accepted their fate, and first blood going to a quick 3-camp play from Lolo to get first blood for this Mythic side.
Yeah, really, really good job by them for sure. It's certainly surprising to me. Like we said, like I was kind of mentioning before, you know, we want to see like gathering up that Violet, kind of just like spending a little bit more time in the jungle. But like you said, they went 3 camps, so they're gonna have to come back to this Gromp here. But by noting that they're up in the top lane here, they might lose this blue buff here. Yeah, they're gonna lose it. Kha'Zix is gonna be the one picking it up, and no counter.
Yeah, but at least, you know, that's what you got to say at this level now, Shinkari. You're starting to see it. Any play you make will get responded to, and a correct response from Perklo to decide, yes, okay, Bel'Veth is top, did some good quick math, noticed they just had the red buff, knew the blue was still available, so that's a great response play. Yes, he didn't get the kill here, but when your bot lane is Prio, you talked about Kazwerdy not having any potions available. That means that this bot Prio allowed Kha'Zix to move in, get that blue buff as well. So a great counter move. And now they're back in their own jungle. So Kha'Zix, you said this was where a point of pressure could be early, and it does seem to be Perklo at least denying one of those camps getting a quick 3 buffs for the side of MYNT Gaming.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good start for them for sure. Kha'Zix is going to be a little bit farther ahead in levels here, and it should be important to note that this Kha'Zix is running first strike, so that's going to be a lot of burst damage in these early engagements as Kha'Zix looks for these fights. But it looks like Perklo is just wanting to get to that level 6, wanting to get to that first upgrade as fast as possible so that they can start doing these ganks. Because I'm looking at some of these... Oh, wait a minute. We got a root on the bot lane.
Engage, though. Oh, Greg has the flash out already, and the heal is used. Exhaust on a Greg as well, and Perklo's in the area. Ooh. Greg, no way to escape now. There's the Abyssal Dive, because Wordy, for their own life, has to flash, but following up Perklo with the flash to follow. The gray health is there, but won't even be used, because Wordy falls in a double kill in the bot lane. 1 kill over to Jinx, and the other claimed by Kha'Zix.
Yeah, that's a really, really good start here for Perklo. Once again, they got that blue buff steal. They got that kill as well, and now look at that, they're coming back to lane with a serrated Dirk, and at this stage of the game, that is deadly, right? Any sort of lethality is doubly countered by armor, right? Like AD, obviously you buy armor to stop it, right? Lethality kind of doubly so. And in this stage of the game, even the tankiest members of your team, right? This Tahm Kench, this Mordekaiser, even this Bel'Veth, debatably, right? It would have armor at some point in the game, but right now they've got nothing, right? So this lethality, this serrated Dirk, so good early, so incredibly good. No one's got armor. You're going to be able to get that isolated damage as well. This is a really good recipe for success with this Kha'Zix.
And speaking about getting nothing, take a look at the bot lane itemization. With that dying on the Senna, they're playing for super scaling. Tier in boots on the buy. So they're starved compared to the Noon Quiver that this Jinx is coming back with. So it's not just in the jungle department, but even support, we're seeing some big differences. But now level 6 is starting to come across on the board. Looks like Phil might be the target. There's going to be the jump from Cosmic on to Phil now, but it is going to be pushed into the tower. Perklo, no flash. One more tower shot. Traded back. A 1-for-1. A great Emperor's Divide coming out of Azir will at least get the trade kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's kind of the best case scenario for Phil in that mid lane there. Really, really good job by them. The Emperor's Divide comes out very strong for them. Perklo, normally, like, they're paired with someone who's very, very good at tower diving, but Vladimir has to kind of get in there and tank that first tower shot first, and then go into the puddle, right? But then it just becomes just a really, really awkward thing. Is Inigo Montoya, he's in the Shadow Realm.
Is under tower, but is level 6. A great flash in the wall, and then a knockup. Cannot turn it. Tete Dure with a solo kill on the top side. Perklo jumps in. Oh, it's actually Jinx who gets it, and now is excited. One more auto will kill Lolo, but they are still alive for now because Wordy on the chase. Numbers are here from Mythic Esports. They want to keep on going. There's going to be Myers getting another one.
No.
Bingo free hitting from the backside. One more auto. It's going to be another kill over to Bingo. They are excited. They want to chase. Phil's got to run. Dodges the W from Senna, and ultimately the dragon was secured. The kills in advantage for Mint Gaming, and Bingo was his name-o in that team fight.
The AoE damage from those rockets from Jinx was enough to get Lolo low enough for Myers to just swoop in for that last kill, and Bingo getting excited off of that was the way that they were able to transition that into their next kill. What a huge play for Mint here. Not only do they make out like bandits with that dragon, they also might as well be called stealing those kills as well, because I don't feel like they like really position themselves in a way that was like, oh yeah, this is 100% our team fight angle. It's just like they just got set up very properly by just kind of a bunch of sequences happening in that way to just like, hey, like, oh, we've got a kill here, right? It feels less like this was 100% intentional and more like 40% intentional, if I'm trying to put it that
really
way.
was. It went from good to better. It felt like
Yeah.
the Dragon Steal was great that Perklo committed for it, but you're right. It felt like maybe a little bit better luck than good management there, but still got to give credit where credit's due. You know, when your playoff dreams are on the line to still make those big plays in game number 1, you got to give some credit over to Mint Gaming for making the play happen like that.
Yeah, and this is the game to do it, right? Uh-oh.
Oh, this is the top lane play now. Tete Dure, I think Perklo said, you don't get a solo kill my top laner again, and gets a return.
Yeah, holy moly. These have been non-stop plays by Mint so far. The aggression has been so good. And even Myers is wanting a piece of this kind of disruption as well, throwing a little bit of damage onto Lolo in the jungle. Not enough to really like, hey, this is going to scare me off the blue, but it still kind of shows how aggressive Mint is willing to play in these early levels in order to gain the advantage that they need as this game goes further, right? In the issue of two late game comps going up against each other, sometimes these games can last just 20 minutes, right? Because the other team spikes a lot faster than the other one, right? All it takes is one item breakpoint for this Jinx to really pop off for sometimes these double late game mirror matches to just fly off the rails.
Absolutely. And it can be those critical spikes. Who gets those 2 items first? Who gets the 3 items first? Who's on the Baron, right? It is those kind of decisions. And we're seeing when you're going so scaling like this Senna that we've talked about, you don't have any damage yet. You have no way to return any fight. Your Tom Kench is not tanky enough. Phil's going to be in trouble, and look at that damage.
No way he flashed just for that.
Oh my. Perklo, I think, might have surprised even himself with the amount of damage from that Duskblade and the Serrated Dirk. Perklo is popping off on Lolo early on.
Yeah, now we're in the Shadow Realm of the top lane.
We'll see if there is anything to trade there, but a great knockaway from Inigo Montoya. That Keeper's Verdict does keep that Yordle safe in the top side.
Yeah, I guess that is how Keeper's Verdict and Shadow Realm works together, huh? You just get knocked to the edge of the Shadow Realm. Huh.
Yeah. I think it should be out of it. I think you should completely.
Yeah, just that, like you. That'd be really funny, actually.
Yep.
I think.
Hey, that was my Shadow Realm.
Get right, August on the horn. I got this great idea from the news from the mail guys downstairs. Hey. Want to keep us Frederick just knocked him right out of the death realm. Want to just get him out of there.
I think we should pitch that. I think that's the way to go.
Just like that.
Just like that too. I think that would really read all about it. That's the new patch changes coming in for time for Worlds.
Yeah, for sure.
The best counter there is here, but I mean, Tete Dure with the health advantage got some deep vision as well. Looks like it might have even been pinged out there by Inigo. So, I mean, Tete Dure doing a great job in the top side. Look at this damage, Poppy.
Yeah.
Really did not pick this for the matchup, right? We talked about this in the very beginning. They picked it on blue 4, right? The advantage of having the 5th pick is you get to choose a counter, and the counter seems to be paying off so far for Mythic.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good team fighter that you kind of like the only thing you want to do with Poppy is just kind of like let her go, just like let her leave her lane. And then just let her ignore the top lane for the most part, right? She's not a split pusher. She wants to be in the middle of the fight, stopping a bunch of people dashing onto her backline here. She's not exactly a 1v1er, right? She does have some tools that in the right matchup she could succeed, but like for the most part, right, she's a team fighter. She's not a duelist.
And does not have the teleport, meaning will not be able to team fight for this play. And Tete Dure actually getting him under tower, 1 health. You can't even team fight. You can't even fight in your own lane here. The Herald somehow still crashes. I thought it was a little bit of a troll place, but still not able to clear the wave in time. But now Kazwordy going in. Oh, that's going to munch Bingo under this tower. Even flashes away, and Ghosts gets exhausted, but they want to chase it down for the kill. Shutdown goes over to Tom Kench. Now Myers forced to flash. The continuation is going to come out from Mythic Esports now. 4 members down here, and only Myers is alive. Not for very long, trying to get their way out of here with a twisted advance, but will not be good. Had to use a lot of resources. 3 summoners in the bot side, plus the mid laner's flash, just to secure that tree's kill. But with that number advantage and Poppy back in the top side, this might be the second dragon tied up now 1-1 for Mythic Esports.
Yeah, they're getting the teleport in from Azir from the summoner platform as well, so this is a really easy pickup for them. What a great fight, can I say, by the way, because Bingo going a little too far here, getting punished super hard by Kazwordy. And normally when you see a support grab a kill, it's like, oh well, a support to grab the kill, is a kill secured, is a kill stolen, right? It depends on where you lie on that kind of spectrum. But Kazwordy in this case, like, that's definitely a kill secured, right? A farming Tom Kench in the bottom lane means that is going to be basically top lane level stats with regards to tanking. So you definitely want those kills on Tom Kench, because at the end of the day, we got a Shadow Realm top lane, and Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, speaking around kills going on here, Inigo Montoya just trying to run their way out of here. Does get the stun against the wall, forced to use the flash. Keeper's Verdict was flashed by Tete Dure, which led to Poppy having to commit their own just to survive here. But is barely doing that, it feels like, top lane.
Yeah. And just to finish up, right? Like Senna's going to get damage, right? She's got the tier building, like it's gonna be a Muramana eventually, right? And she's getting souls as well. Let's take a look at what the soul count is actually right now. Let's take a look. 45. Okay, so she already has like an attack range bonus. And then so you're perfectly fine, right? You don't absolutely 100% need Senna to get these kills, because right, she's the support in this scenario, so she's mostly looking to scale off of those souls than she is to scale off of gold. So she's perfectly fine right now. That's a kill secured down to the bot lane for sure, as we see 2v1 top lane.
Looks like they might be looking for a kill onto Tete Dure once again, but Inigo Montoya, no flash, no health, no ultimate. Perklo knows that this is not a winning fight now. Lolo's here to support it. Perklo actually might be the one fallen for their sins here, trying to help out. Lolo flashes forward and takes down the jungler here of Mint Gaming. Now the tower under pressure, and Inigo Montoya can do nothing but just watch it fall.
Yeah, this has been such a hard matchup for Poppy so far, and going into that, you would have thought that Kha'Zix would have an easy time with this Mordekaiser here, but still just was not able to get as much damage as they'd hoped. I think Poppy had moved away enough so that Perklo could get that isolated damage. But for the most part, right, like that Mordekaiser still very healthy after getting some of that kind of 3-hit combo from Kha'Zix there, and still was able to walk away relatively safe. So now, it's a bit of a tricky situation, because Really good setup by Mint there, but great follow-up by Lolo with the counter gank for sure.
Yeah, and the Herald is theirs now too. So top lane is pretty disaster. It's pretty over here, right? If you're Mint Gaming. And I do need to fault them a little bit here because your strong lane is Jinx and Maokai. We saw the kills work there early on in the game. And we talked about how far ahead this bot side was and how Senna needed souls and needed time to scale. But we haven't seen Perklo really putting any more resources into this bot side fight at all here. So it does feel like you got a Kraken Slayer on your carry. And I do feel like it's a little bit of a missed opportunity from Mint Gaming to not put more resources into getting this Jinx even further ahead when you don't have the same prio of marksman on the enemy side.
Yeah, and once again, like this is mostly just helping Poppy get a excuse me. This is I want to say deicide, but it's the that's the Ornn item. But we got an ulti in the bot lane.
Talking about now they're making the play on the bot side here. This is what you needed to do. Perklo almost 100-0, interrupting the abyssal dive, even committing the teleport. It wasn't needed because all the health bars are still at full for Mint Gaming. They must have heard me there in comms there, Shinkari, because that was exactly the play I wanted to see them make.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was really just textbook from them. Yeah, and the teleport in from Inigo Montoya, really good too, right? This is going to be just really good job from them right here. Like, this is such a good job by that teleport there. You're not losing a whole lot in the top lane anymore, right? Like, if Tedadora, like, the worst thing that can happen is that he solos and takes the tier 2 turret. That's the worst thing that can happen right now. And even then, like, you're not losing as much as you did before, right? You're not dying to the Mordekaiser anymore, so Mordekaiser just kind of has to stay in that top lane, which he was doing already, right? So by putting Poppy, letting her teleport into that bot lane, sure, you lose top pressure, but you gain a little bit of gold off the assist, and you give your team, like, that much more gold.
Yeah, and Poppy just needs those assists too, right? Like, that's the other piece of that, is even if you're there and just helping, that will accelerate her toward the Divine Sunderer, which is really crucial now at this point in the game, because you're pretty behind the curve as you already see the completed Rylai's as well as already having the Aegis as well. But take a look, this dragon is spawned now, and it looks like it is going to be Mythic Esports, the first ones in the pit. The dragon has not been started quite yet. But Mordekaiser's top side has a teleport. Meanwhile, Poppy, like you said, using the teleport before bot lane means they have to walk their little Yordle feet down if they want to contest. Looks like it might be a 5v5 coming up around this dragon here. Ults are available. Inigo Montoya
on the backside.
has the flank.
Keeper's
They're going to
Verdict.
channel the Keeper's Verdict. They're going to knock out the jungler. This could be the angle to take the fight before they are back in the fight. Inigo Montoya going in onto the carry here, but it is going to be Phil staying alive just fine. Inigo Montoya doesn't have the damage, pushing the team. The dragon secured, and now all of the other members from Mint Gaming are in the midst of things, but they don't have the damage. They don't have the health bars. They're starting to fall one at a time. Bingo, the third to fall for Mythic Esports, and now Perklo and Donut Cake forced to run. The fight went bad to worse for Mint Gaming. Mythic Esports, the victors of the dragon of the team fight, and now this scaling advantage is back to almost even in the gold lead.
Yeah, this is a really good job by Mythic here. They're super patient with the re-engage, right? Really smart by Tetadur. Use that death realm relatively early in there. I believe they pulled out I think they pulled out Donut Cake. It was unclear. There was so much happening there, but I'm fairly certain they pulled out the Vladimir in that fight. And because of that, like, having to go into that 4v4 with Inigo Montoya just kind of on the other end of the fight there, has this really scattered kind of fight here. There's no one really to frontline for Bingo because Myers had gone in after spending their ultimate. Like, there's a lot there, and because of that, Bingo doesn't really have the space to get into that fight. There's a lot of other issues that start to happen because of that, and Inigo Montoya is singled out because they essentially tried to flank. Perklo isn't getting the isolated damage that they want, but they might get it now.
This might be the isolated damage to the Tetadur. The wave has crashed and they're under tower here. See if Inigo Montoya can pull up. Does not have the aggro, but might not matter. Perklo taking it for the team. Tetadur flashing out to survive. Follow flash from Inigo. Will survive. How to use the summoner spells, but does get the kill in the end. And that's going to be a winning play top lane.
Yeah, really good setup. But once again, it shows that, like, armor insanely good against lethality. Perklo had to dash in and out of that fight so many times in order to be effective against that Mordekaiser. There's so much armor right now.
Advantage is up here. Myers is going in, does have the Nature's Grasp, and there it goes. Perklo on the side. Lolo trying to run away. Keeper's Verdict was not available here, but here's going to be Phil with the massive ultimate available, but they're still alive. Bingo down to 1 auto attack, but take a look at Donut Cake. Donut Cake might be the one to win. They are the sweet player in this team fight, trying to take the rest of the members down, because Wordy, the last one under their tower who's still alive. Mordekaiser's on their way up here, but they have the minions. They might look for the dive. Perklo's looking to get the slow into the wall. There it is, and that's going to be
no, Perklo! No!
The aggro does get executed, but still a winning team fight now, and Tete Dure is up here. Might want to try to turn it here. We'll see if Inigo and Donut Cake are able to run to safety.
Oh, they've got to be able to. Yeah, there's the puddle. Yeah, they're long gone.
There it is. They're going to try to run, but do they want to turn it? Looks like they will not. Tete Dure knows this is a chase you cannot catch up with. So a team fight win with numbers advantage does go to Mythic Gaming.
Yeah, it's a really, really good start to that fight there. Really good engage by Myers there, going in kind of 2v1, a little bit of a scary kind of scarier kind of setup there. You know, most people wouldn't go in on that, but with the communication that this team has, really, really good start to this fight here is Lolo on to Bingo.
Speaking about communication, maybe a little bit too far caught out without the vision from the team, but actually winning it here. Lolo's the one to flash. Bingo stands and delivers. Now it's going to be Myers going on in. They're going to try to get Kazwordy. There's going to be the Keeper's Verdict just for the knockup. Donut Cake zoning the rest of the team. Now there's Vladimir's on a rampage. Vladimir has scaled. This 500,000 point player with this Vladimir in their back pocket has become the online carry for this squad.
Yeah, and now they get some free reign onto this. Oh no, they're going for Tedadura here. He pulls him in Shadow Realm.
They thought they might have had the angle here on the Baron, but instead, like you said, it is going to be Donut Cake, but they're shut down. They are not alive. This fight might be harder. Bingo wants to turn it, but health bars are still there for the side of Mythic Esports. They seem to be winning. They seem to be taking down all of the members. They overextended. Mint Gaming thought they could take even more, but Mythic Esports capitalized. Mythic Esports takes the team fight, and now the Baron looks like it might be the prize for this Mythic squad.
It just seems like these fights come down to who can heal the most. We saw Vladimir really pop off on the fight before this, right? Jinx gets that kill, really helps out with the rest of the team, not able to be killed there. Donut Cake, really, really strong. And then we see that fight around Red Buff. Mordekaiser just does not die. This guy is invincible. He fought off at least 3 different people fighting him all against, and everyone kept focusing him because they're like, hey, Mordekaiser, low HP. We got him. 100%. Get in there. If we finish him off, everyone else is low pickings. But he just heals so much. He gets those gigantic shields. He's got that Jock Show as well. It's really hard to stop this iron monstrosity, the supervillain of League of Legends. Hard to stop here as we got another fight around Dragon here. They're showing up. Here comes Mint.
But there's a Baron advantage for Mythic that's getting down to low health here. They're looking for the fight, though. Bingo using the ultimate early. Take a look at these health bars. Myers forced to flash out. Perko looks for the steal, but will not be there. Bingo still full health. Keep your eyes on Bingo. Donut Cake in the backline. Gets one. Inigo Montoya now going to fall. Bingo at half health. Does have to flash away. Has the rockets, but does not have the damage. The invincible, the unstoppable, the Goliath of Tete Dure 2000 is going to allow the team fight win to come through for Mythic Esports.
Yeah, and now so many things are lined up for Mythic here. Lolo with the Baron buff does activate another passive for Belveth here. Look at all those little voidlings following her around. This is going to be a very, very strong push. They might be able to even get some damage onto some of the turrets there, the Nexus turrets. I'm so sorry. But it looks like they're just going to back away. Such an easy push there. And man, Mint Gaming had such a good start to the fight, but they missed 2 important ultimates. Keetzer's ultimate and Super Mega Death Rocket were both went wide, and because of that, they didn't get the damage out of the Jinx. They didn't get the numbers advantage that they could have gotten out of the Keeper's Verdict there. And then after that, it was just kind of like, hey, 2 of our big buttons are down. And Super Mega Death Rocket could be argued that it's not that big of a deal. You really want the Jinx auto attacks, but without the Keeper's Verdict giving them the numbers advantage, they're still behind in gold, and they're down a Baron buff as well. There's just a decent amount of stats that's just in the favor of Mythic right now that they needed that numbers advantage for. So now we're in a moment where, hey, Mynt is really going to have to be careful here, because even there is not a single member on this team that doesn't have armor. I think it's only Senna here. And look at that. Perkalo dives onto Lolo. Only a quarter bit of HP there.
So not nearly as potent as it was earlier. And I am kind of surprised, like that dragon fight, that was a fight that Mint Gaming wanted to take, right?
Yes.
They approached it knowing that they did not have the numbers there first, knowing that the enemy team just claimed the Baron buff, and knowing that you're no longer in the advantage anymore, and it was still something they wanted to take. Yes, you killed 2 members. Both of Mythic's bot laners died, but that was not enough to get the win on the team fight. So I'm surprised that that was the fight they wanted to look for, because now they're down an inhibitor. Now you're starting to see, okay, what spikes can we play for? You have 3 items on Kha'Zix, you have 2 items on this Jinx, and 2.5 on Vladimir. So when is the next opportunity to fight? And my guess is going to be, now that the Baron has fallen, can they make a stand now at some of these inner towers before more standing gold goes to Mythic Esports?
Yeah, it's going to be very important these next kind of few minutes here as this game progresses, because once again, like, we expected this game to go about 40 minutes, but we're seeing kind of an average playtime for this game so far is 27 minutes in. We're seeing pushes onto second and third Nexus turrets. Good initiation.
Here's a push for the dive now. Myers is going to be the one to get onto Phil early on. Does he use the ultimate to get away? Take a look at Inigo Montoya still alive with Bingo. Bingo now excited. That backline was massive. There's the Death Rocket to keep the damage going. They're ignoring Kazwordy and getting onto Phil. Phil forced to flash and now drops that tower, but Phil's gonna fall. Inigo Montoya with the shutdown. Bingo so low. One more auto will do it, because Wordy does not have it. Flashes forward to get it. Now Inigo Montoya might be able to pick up this last member here. Actually might be a team fight victory now. 4 members have fallen from Mythic Esports, and only 3 from the side of Mint Gaming. Top side is still a struggle though for Mint Gaming, and Donut Cake tries to hold the 1v1.
Yeah, they hold off on the bot lane as best as they can there, and man, hats off to Perkalo here, taking that dive 3v1 on the backside there. Really important that he was going for that kill there, because otherwise Greg was basically firing uncontested, right? This is a Senna that probably has at least 2. Let's do another check real quick. Let's it's 93 souls.
Wow.
We got 93. So that's a nice 80 range increase for the Senna there. So she, you know, by diving onto the backline here, it's kind of important that she has to do that, right? Like, she needs that you have to do that. She's going to be free firing for free if there's no contest there. And if you've got a couple of beefcakes like Myers and Montoya just kind of wailing on Kazwordy in the front, Greg is just going to be uncontested and firing for free. So really, really good job by Perkalo early on there. And it also helps Bingo get excited later on, gets that attack and movement speed, which is really important for cleaning up a lot of those other kills. So now,
yeah, but now
here we go,
it's
Dragon Soul.
Yeah, this is a Dragon Soul potential for Mythic Esports, so they can claim it. And this is where Mint Gaming has to make their stand. It's spawned now, and Mythic has the setup. Mint Gaming looking for a way in, trying to get some chip damage, but Tete Dure standing in that front line. Keeper's Verdict could be massive if it splits the fight, but misses once again. They did find the Mordekaiser. This might be the member. Into the Death Realm goes the Poppy. The Dragon is stolen by Mint Gaming, but can they win the team fight? This Vladimir still alive, but so low they already got onto Greg, but it's traded right back for Donut. That is the player who's so strong. The health bars are blinking on both sides, but at the end, the victor of the fight is Mythic Esports. A quadra kill for Phil, shutting down all the members of Mint Gaming, and this might just be their victory march into the base.
Just when you thought it was in Mint's favor, this team's fight started off a little rocky for Mint. They didn't land the Keeper's Verdict, but it did something important. It scattered Mythic, and that gave them the opportunity to at least give them some space to work with inside the river around the pit. They stole the dragon. They got 2 kills. Really good start. But Phil was the one who was ignored this time. Greg might have gone down, but it doesn't matter because they still have a big carry, and that's what lets them win the game. You said it, marching down the mid lane right to their victory. Game number 1 goes to Mythic.
Mythic meanies here coming in. They are showing the power of this Mythic Esports organization. You had said this is a dynasty almost in style esports with the effort and teams and rosters they put together and showing up at least in game number 1 against Minty Flesh. You know, this Mint Gaming squad, they had options, they had angles. And you know, it wasn't by clean by any means, I don't think, for Mythic, but enough for them to secure that dub here in game number 1.
Yeah, a really, really good showing too, and not actually that long. I mean, this was a little bit longer than some of our quicker games that last about 20 to 25 minutes, but you know, we were expecting this game to go a lot longer, but sometimes when we, like I said earlier, like if you have a team composition that just kind of like, if you have two team compositions that want to go late, sometimes if you just do your job just a little bit better than your opponent, that's enough to let you win the game. And that's not, and you know, their gold lead isn't the only thing that got them here. You know, very smart decision making from Mythic here, punishing a lot of early aggression by Mythic and getting some big carry potential through that Mordekaiser as well. Really, really good job from them. They might have lost in the early game on that bottom half of the map, but the top half of the map was succeeding, and they used that as a very good win condition for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the top side of the map that Mythic Esports really won through. It felt like Shinkari, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was the Mordekaiser and this is year that you pointed out. I think Lolo also had a great game, even though there are a couple 50s that didn't go their way on this Belveth. But definitely showed up when they needed to. And so, I mean, you have to look at Mint Gaming now, and they're the team now that has their backs up against the wall in this best of 3 tonight. They're the team that has to really make adaptations here. And I think Mint recognized, or at least I hope they recognized, bot can be a pressure point for this team, right? This is a team that even with this Jinx Maokai was winning lane, was finding kills, was getting these opportunities in these angles whenever Perkla was in the area. But it felt like that was a pressure point that wasn't pushed hard enough for Mint. And that's really, I think, why when we saw this later parts of the game, yeah, these solo lanes didn't perform as well, but Donut Cake was like 4-0 on this Vladimir at one point in the game, right, Shikari? Like they had angles in their top side, but it just was not enough, did not come to fruition as quickly or as cleanly as it needed to. And like you said, the game wasn't too long here, but in 30 minutes, I mean, it just felt like if it went a little bit longer, this could have been even more even.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of puts a nice bow on it. I think we are just going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be into picks and bans of game number 2 here for our featured match of the evening here at Style Esports Season 16 playoffs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Style Esports this evening for the Ionia division here. We are into the last one before the finals between this evening is between Mythic Esports and MYNT Gaming. A 1-0 lead for Mythic Esports, meaning the sides have swapped. Maybe the ideas have swapped as well, because it's going to be up to MYNT Gaming now to pull something out of the hat if they want to stay alive in this series and try to score their seed in against Elysium Dawn next week.
Yeah, and already off the bat, we're seeing some pretty interesting bans so far. We're getting rid of the Tom Kench, a bit of that pain point in the bottom lane there. We're
Ooh.
seeing the Azir ban as well, which is a lot of priority for MYNT Gaming here. They don't want to give it away. A very powerful pick right now. And Swain is going to be the first lock-in for Mythic Esports here.
Without much of a hesitation either. This was actually something in round one. We didn't get to see much of that draft from last game, but this was something that the Mythic Esports team actually banned away R3, not wanting that to be the first pick choice. So here now in game number 2 with a 1-game advantage, they say we don't even need to ban it away, and we're just going to decide to pick it up for ourselves here early on.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good off the bat here for the strong start here, and we're getting another Void champion here. We're gonna Vel'Koz as the
Wow.
Void gets some pretty good representation in both of these games here. Vel'Koz a pretty interesting pick. I would say that it's not exactly the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of like some strong mid laners right now, but perhaps this is a more of a comfort pick for the MYNT Gaming mid laner.
And it might be to really synergize with this poke. My concern always, whenever I see these kind of poke compositions taking formation, is just understanding that the level of execution, that threshold that's needed to be good at a poke comp, is incredibly challenging because you need to ward all your flanks, you
Yeah.
need to not get hard engaged on, and you need to put down meaningful chip damage into these towers, objectives, and champions in order to like successfully win this kind of comp. So I am a little bit worried seeing the Vel'Koz, but it is something that is something that Donut Cake has been playing 4 games of, it looks like, on that, just followed behind after the Swain and the Vladimir. So decided not to go back for the Vladimir, and we'll see if MYNT Gaming tries to fully commit now into this kind of poke style draft.
Well, if that's the strategy that they want to do, I think they've shown their whole hand here. I don't think they need to do more here. I think they now need to perform a front line, something that can disengage and give this Caitlyn and Vel'Koz space to do their long range poking. I'm going to assume like a Braum,
Ooh.
a Kindred was not my first
That
guess.
that's not a front line.
Yeah, but it you know what? It is still fine though, right? Because
Yeah. Oh
Kindred
yeah.
does let these team fights go for a lot longer, which was what these poke comps kind of want, right? They want to extend these fights. They want them to go longer so that they can just slowly chip away without 100% engaging and giving yourself that lamb's respite, that little bit of extra time to kind of just continue to poke down the enemy champions, get them low enough so that when that ultimate ends, you can then go and seal the deal. So Kindred's still fine here, but there are 2 marksmen for MYNT Gaming here, which means these last 2 picks here gotta be some frontline, gotta be some maybe an enchanter and a frontliner here, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I think Mythic Esports is also picking up on that as well. They're going to take away the Nautilus here.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Braum also hitting the ban table. You mentioned that Shinkari is maybe an angle that they look for. I think Alistar also pairs very well in terms of tanking up that damage, using that Unbreakable on Alistar for that ultimate to soak up so much of that front line, as well as you have something like a Headbutt to maybe knock one of those targets that snuck into the Kindred ult, get them out of
Yeah.
the Lamb's Respite and try to burst them down here. So I do think, as you said, tank is going to be the name of the game in the second half. I don't hate something like a Poppy, even though I think we were pretty critical of Inigo Montoya's Poppy in this last game. It
Yeah.
can absolutely work here in this context, but maybe you just go something a little bit tankier here. So there's 2 picks to go. One of them will have to be blind. I expect to see a jungler locked in here, but then what's going to be the angle? What's going to be your frontline choice? I don't really like the traditional tanks like a Sejuani here. I'll be curious to see, but actually holding their jungle till the end of the draft with the Leona being hovered.
Yeah, I think Leona is just a solid pick here with Nautilus down. I mean, the other idea is to maybe pick up Thresh or Braum here. Thresh is going to give you a little bit less just forward tankiness. Just and it's going to be sacrificed a little bit here. The peel potential of a Braum is going to be sacrificed here with a little bit more aggression and some more damage from Leona, especially with that passive as well. So Kindred is going to be set up really, really well in some of these ganks in the bot lane here, but I don't think Caitlyn is going to be, poking for a million years. Leona is very much like I want to go in champion rather than I'm going to play patient and wait for you to come to me.
But speaking about going in, look at what Mythic Esports is drafted here. This is go in if I've seen it. You got 3 short range, nearly melee champions with Swain's ultimate, is kind of what I'm thinking here. And you got a Maokai and Yone. If we're talking about going in, Mythic Esports has read the composition that Mint Gaming is drafting for and said, all right, you want us to be in your face? Let's be in your face. And with this last pick, let's get in your face quickly.
No.
Sivir being the last pick now for Mythic.
So this is actually wild because Sivir Karma is like one of my favorite compositions, and I was actually thinking about this Poppy too.
Yeah,
I don't think I was ever like, and to add on to the Poppy just really quickly, I don't think I was ever like upset about the way Inigo Montoya was playing Poppy. I think he like missed ultimate like a couple times, and that was like the most egregious error that he made. But other than that, like his laning in a losing matchup was perfectly fine. His teleports were good, and a lot of times he was landing those wall slams like on really important targets. So Inigo Montoya here picking up the Poppy, I think is actually very good. Once again, they want that disengage. They want to say, hey, you can't get to our backline. Our backline is going to poke you for a million years. And also Keeper's Verdict is really important for shutting down this Swain. Swain is really good. His ultimate is insanely powerful. However, the main caveat is he needs to stay within range. It has to, right? Otherwise, he's going to start falling behind, right? The ultimate just eventually ends, and you're not going to get any value out of it if no one's inside of it, right? So very ultimate dependent, the Swain here. So having Keeper's Verdict in the back pocket for that, very, very important.
And yeah, and I think what you said is very true. I don't think we were as much critiquing Inigo Montoya's Poppy quite as much, but I think something we've named from last game and again this game is Poppy should be there to peel the immobile carries, right? Like your job is to stand there when Yone wants to go in, that you press W, right? And you say, all right, I'm gonna put up my steadfast presence. You can't go through me. All right, Swain's gonna press R. Let me use my Keeper's Verdict. Like you have to be playing reactively to what the enemy is trying to do. And I think a couple times we saw Inigo Montoya in these fights actually look for the aggressive tackle into a wall. Try to find this Azir in that fight. And there were a couple moments I remember around the Dragons where Poppy's there, but now they're leading the charge. They're the ones jumping into the fight. And that's what Leona needs to be doing here in this fight. And Inigo Montoya's has to be staying with the back line, as you have named, right? That's what we wanted to see, I think, in game 1. But it's even more critical here in game 2 that you got to be the person who's peeling here. Because if you're going in, your carries are getting exploded on the other side of the rift.
Yeah, not to mention that, like, keep in mind that, like, Karma and Sivir together is such a potent combination. The amount of movement speed you can get for your whole team is
Mantra ER.
Very, very
just go.
Mantra E plus On the Hunt is very good. And Shirelia's Battle Song has not stopped being a good support item.
No.
Okay, that's still something on the table. Now I think it might be a little overkill for this game specifically, but it's still very powerful. And the fact that it's on the table means that Swain, like, if your team comp is to support this Swain and your win comp is the Swain and you're just like, let's give this Swain the most amount of movement speed possible so he can just exist forever inside of Mint Gaming, then this is a really good composition to do that with, right? On top of that, Sivir, very strong champion for those kinds of situations as well. And Yone is just going to be like, hey, like, they're all going to get CC'd by Maokai and then I'm going to follow this up. So Mythic Esports here, really, really synergistic team composition that I really, really like a whole lot. Mint Gaming, on the other hand, might have missed the mark in my opinion with the Leona pick, and Poppy, while a good pick as well, we need to see if Inigo Montoya is going to be just a little bit more patient this time around.
Yeah, it does feel, I heard that a little bit of that wince as you're kind of naming Mint Gaming's composition.
Yeah.
I definitely would say the onus is on them to find advantages. We know Mint Gaming can play aggressive. We saw it in game 1. We saw it early on. And what I like about this composition is it's not just reliant on making it to 40 minutes and hitting full build, right? Like this is a team that has agency early on, has pick potentials with a solar flare, can look for some targets with an ace in the hole or something from long range here, right? Like there is agency, but there's also a high threshold for execution. And Mythic Esports composition, I think we've broken down pretty well here. We've said, you know what? You run at him fast, you get on top of him, you let Swain just stand around and suck them all dry, and that's how we win our team fight here. So, I mean, I feel like we've kind of broken down these two compositions
Yeah.
here now, Shinkari, but I mean, we're less than 3 minutes away now from seeing what's going to happen on the Rift in game number 2. Remember, Mint Gaming has to win this, push us
Yep.
to a game 3 if they want to stay alive in the playoffs of the Ionia division. Otherwise, it might be Mythic Esports taking the 2-0 victory tonight and clinching their spot in the finals next week. We're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. Get your channel points in. Most of us were incorrect last time. We'll have to see what's going to happen here. So make sure to vote in the chat with who you think is going to be taking this game number 2. And on the other side of a spectator delay, we'll be finding out for ourselves. The second game of the evening tonight on Style Esports Season 16 playoffs here of the Ionia Division. This evening on the Rift, we got some fierce competitors of MYNT Gaming going up against Mythic Esports here. And as we get that graphic fixed on screen, we're going to have to see what happens here. As you can see, it is Mythic with a 1-game advantage tonight in this best of 3. And now it's do or die time for this MYNT Gaming composition. They've picked some interesting champions, gone for the poke style, trying to put fate in their own hands on their own execution. And now we're going to have to see if they can get the job done here in game number 2.
Yeah, and we're already less than a minute into this game, and already Mythic Greg has committed a party foul. As we know, if 2 people are dancing in mid lane, you're not allowed to come and shoot something at them, especially if you're going to get gold off of them. That's some bad play. A yellow card. Yellow card on the play. Just throw that one out there. Mythic Greg starting off the game with the yellow card.
Yeah,
unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is 10-yard
5-yard penalty. Yellow card.
Oh, only 5. Okay, hey, that's not bad then. Okay. It's we'll have to see if it can be punished then. Greg is now going to be the target. This was a guy in the Senna last game and got the victory from it. We'll see what they can do on the Karma here. Back to at least a standard pairing in terms of this bot lane matchup, going with a marksman and a support here. We'll see what that means. But already Bingo taking quite a bit of damage. Actually going to be the Zenith blade level 1 from Myers. Didn't trade bot lane early on.
Yeah, this is a significantly different bot lane from what was before, mostly because both of these supports, their level 1s are pretty good. And the folks that they're matched up with also have some good early levels here. Sivir, not gonna be the greatest early level, but like that boomerang blade does a lot of damage early on. If you get hit by 2 Qs, it's really, really a whole lot of damage, especially when followed up. As holy moly, Inigo Montoya and Tedadure at the top lane here.
Yeah, trying to make something happen. Here. Seems to be winning on out. That's the first blood.
Yeah, sometimes I just kind of like cast over top lane because most times it's just a meatball fest up there. So, oops, as Myers, a whole lot of damage down there.
I'm all good. Had a cat on my keyboard here, so where you at time code wise? I think my cat's head pushed the backspace
256, 7, 8.
Oh, I'm just like a second behind you. Then we are
3
good
minutes
to go.
All right. So yeah, this is definitely a interesting start to the game. And Perklo once again, 3 camps immediately top lane, looking for Tedadure here, but no,
but taking 2 tower shots now too.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh. Even trying to flash on forward, Kindred's gonna ping that one happily, saying, "I didn't use my flash, buddy. I just baited you in and got yours."
Yeah. I mean, that's just a fat dub, right? Like that's just good. I mean, the only bad thing here is that you didn't get a gank off on that top half of the map there, so you're really losing a decent amount of time coming back into your own jungle here. So what's going to happen is that since the mark is also top lane, this is also pretty bad news for Perklo, because now Lolo just kind of knows where Perklo is going to be and just kind of like, yeah, you can have that mark. That's fine. I'm going to take your entire bottom half jungle here. And you see kind of Leona having to answer the fact that that Perklo kind of has to stay in this top half of the map here and like warding up their lane. Is in the mid lane. Donut Cake's in some trouble.
Donut Cakes might be the next target here. Flash is available. Will they try to use it? Slowed on down. Phil gets the kill, but the flash is still available. So Vel'Koz still has both summoners. Will likely have to use this teleport as Phil's trying to crash this cannon wave into tower. Yeah, so a great response and a move from Lolo with this first strike on the Maokai, helping out his team get that first blood. Or second blood, I guess. First go for their flag though.
Yeah, it is a little interesting to see the first strike on the Maokai here. Certainly going to deal a decent chunk of damage. Excuse me, in these early games here, but in these early sections of the game, but I don't know how that's going to scale well later into the game, as Aftershock is really good. You get that tenacity, you get that little bit of burst damage as well after you see someone. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out here, as we do kind of see some blue pings already kind of pinging out like, hey, I know where the I saw Kindred go into that top tri-brush there. I can see them needing to go for this this mark here, and that's the best way to play against Kindred. You want to make sure that you're keeping track of where those marks are.
Yeah, so it is really great to mark it, but then you see Tete Dure does have to respect it too, though. And you're seeing this here. Inigo Montoya happy to just tank some of the wave, right? And just like hold this freeze here. And it's actually denying quite a bit of farm from this Yone matchup topside. So yes, Perklo's spending a lot of time to hold this here, but now you might want to hold that thought because Lolo is in the area. But yeah, look at Inigo Montoya's. Anytime Tete Dure tries to get any farm here, Inigo Montoya's is going to threaten him. But do you have enough damage for the lethal? Here goes Perklo now. There's going to be the Q3 out and the dash. Flash forward now from Inigo Montoya. Does get the stun. Perklo claims the kill. It's going to be the mark as well. 2 marks of the Kindred now claimed. So well on their way to the first evolve. And Perklo, again, spending so much time up here, but at least is rewarded for their efforts.
Yeah, now this is the big reward that we've kind of been waiting for the Kindred here. Is they're looking for Lolo too still, huh?
Wants even more, but Lolo will just escape to safety.
Yeah, this is exactly kind of what you want to be. This is kind of the almost the I don't want to say the god start, but a really good start for them. Wait a minute, ultimate mid lane.
Oh, Phil looking for something here. Flash had to be used from Donut Cake just to escape. And now, meanwhile, bot side is going to be engaged here. It's going to be Perklo without the flash, or with the flash, but no ultimate available. Does flash over the wall. Barely to safety. The flash was needed. Otherwise, that Kindred might have fallen.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of scuffles across the map. Kind of to be expected now that both these teams going for a little bit earlier pop off of a team comp here. Inigo Montoya in some trouble. Oh!
Looking for something, but does not get the stun in the wall. Keeper's verdict did get stopped or interrupted. Now Lolo flashing forward on Donut Cake. No, the flash is not there. Phil does not have the ultimate, but an amazing flash themselves to pull Donut Cake back. Puts a hole inside of the mid laner for their second death of the game.
Yeah, now...
Oh, and now it's going to be Tete Dure topside. They're looking for the 1v2. Still not level 6. Perklo falls, and now Inigo Montoya trying to fight their way out. A double kill for Yone. Traded on back, but 3 members of Mythic Esports are going to be picked up by Mythic Esports, excuse me, while it's going to be MYNT Gaming falling behind here in game number 2.
Yeah, this is still fine for the Poppy. I don't think Poppy is like really taking a big hit here from that play here. They're still up considerably. They're up 20 CS. They're having additional assist as well. This is still some nice chunk of change into this Yone who was starving before, right? You see the CS differences, and before this, they had 0 kills. They were 0-2. Being able to put themselves on the scoreboard here, really important, as Phil, once again, looking for Donut Cake in the mid lane.
Looking to have so much impact. We see why this was a B1 first pickup. Phil getting just a solo kill. You show up to lane. Donut Cake dies once again. Looks like this Swain's got a sweet tooth in the mid lane.
Yeah, is now they might be setting up for this dragon here. That's the engage.
Myers wants it. Flash is on forward. A couple autos will do it. There's going to be the trap, a shutdown claimed by the right person. You want that to be on bingo. Oh, now it's going to be Perklo in trouble. Had the Lamb's respite, but didn't think the damage from Greg was going to be there, so did not use it. That's going to be a button you wish you pressed sooner, Perklo. Ultimately traded a 1-for-1, but I like seeing the aggression from MYNT Gaming. They're not going to sit back and try to scale. They're going to look to seal their own destiny one way or another.
Yeah, and this is still... Oh, they're still wanting more here. Greg is in some trouble.
Donut Cake. Oh, that could have been it. If that landed, I could have seen that life form disintegration ray coming through too. Here's where the poke can be incredibly powerful. Bingo can get a couple traps down and get some damage there. That could be it, but they're going to try to force right now. Lolo already getting low with themselves. One more auto will do it, and Perklo cleans up the kill. There's a Vel'Koz ult from behind, but the members have disengaged. The dragon is getting low. Kazwerdy in the area is going to spell shield that. Oh, the 600 smite is good. Perklo takes it. Greg tanks the shot from the Caitlyn. And it looks like MYNT Gaming is going to escape with a victory.
Yeah, it's an early Cloud Drake here. Not exactly the best dragon in terms of just stats in order to be getting, but it is the best individual Drake because it means that you are not going to get Cloud Soul. Oh, the Tedaduri going a little deep there on the Yone, looking for the kill on the Poppy. Gets pretty close. Not going to be able to find it. And that was a really, really well-played game by fight by MYNT there. They knew they were fighting just so far away from Mythic. And the second that Mythic just showed up, they're just like, okay, keep backing up. Keep backing up. We're fine. We're going to get out of this. Just everyone back up as a unit. And just that kind of patient play is really important for comps like this because you have a lot of immobile characters, especially with the Poppy and the Leona as well, right? Like the Svel'Koz rather, even Caitlyn to a degree. Once she uses her 90 caliber net, she's kind of out of options, and the hop from Kindred sometimes isn't enough. So you have a couple immobile characters here. So being able to know like, hey, like we need to just keep backing off. Don't engage, let's just finish off the dragon and leave. And that's exactly what they were able to walk away with here. So good win for them here, kind of narrows the gold, but still in Mythic's favor at this time.
It is still in their favor, and 1,400 gold or so separating these two teams. And you're right, it is, you have to fight and kite while you go, right? You have the range advantage, so you got to use it. Perklo, though, speaking about an advantage, is trying to continue to press the issue in the top side with this Poppy once again. Lots of resources seem to be going down into here. Again, I'm going to say I'm surprised that Perklo is not committing resources toward this bot side. Bingo has been doing pretty well to farm on up, and meanwhile, it's just going to be because Wordy just bouncing waves back and forth now. They have the Cole almost completed, the static Shiv as well. That becomes the point now where Sivir can just clean these waves so quickly. Tedaduri once again trading on to Inigo Montoya's, and this time the jungler's not around. This might be a solo kill flash. It will be Tedaduri slaying the top lane Poppy here just in the 1v1. Flashes were used from both sides, but now it's going to be Myers going in. But you don't know, buddy. This is a 3v2. You don't got the numbers. You don't got the support, and you don't got any health left. It's going to be a dive under tower. Lolo's realizing that that might have been a little bit too far. Donut Cake, the first one to move, but Swain in the area as well. It's going to be just the 1-for-0. Lolo having to use Flash to survive, but a winning play in the bot side for Mythic Esports.
Yeah, a really good counter gank there by Lolo to come in from the side there, and a pretty aggressive play by Myers to go in onto Karma. Had Lolo not been there, like this would have been a much different story, but Perklo might be in some trouble here.
Does have Lanes of Respite and will use it now. Fill in the area, gonna jump on out, but flash on over. It's gonna be followed, but it's not gonna be enough. It's gonna be the Vel'Koz having a flash as well as the members collapse from Mythic Esports. Tedaduri in the top side trying to get another play onto Inigo Montoya for the third time here. Has a shutdown in their pocket and not afraid to use it. Tedaduri, though, is the one that's going to be getting low. It's going to be Inigo Montoya looking for the last auto attack. The minions are on their side today, and Poppy wins out in the duel in the top lane.
And that's a pretty big win here, too, because now that's going to give Poppy enough gold that they can look towards finishing up this Divine Sunderer, which is really important especially against this team here. Swain and Maokai here are going to be building a whole lot of HP. You're going to want that extra damage. And even Karma is going to build some decent HP here just because, a lot of support items build out of that Kindle gem. So we're going to be seeing a lot of interesting stuff there. So really, really good. Really good for Inigo Montoya here, especially because the rest of the team is behind right now. So picking up whatever gold at this stage for MYNT Gaming right now is good wherever you can pick it up. So grabbing it there, real good job. Perklo, I believe, picks up another mark. Let's quick news bulletin update. We got 4 marks on the Kindred. So this Kindred has become a champion. They do exist. They are now a champion.
They are now on the League of Legends map. Absolutely. It is those first 4 that really makes them a champion. At 10, that's when they can start becoming incredibly powerful. But speaking about power, Swain's the one dishing it all out right now. 4-1-1 on this mid lane for Mythic Esports. And with this dragon spawning in 10 seconds, I think if you're MYNT Gaming, you're happy with the cloud that you got, and now you're just giving some of them over. Because I don't think there's any way in a team fight, unless you have major setup ahead of time, you're going to win it. But as I say that, Inigo Montoya is in the area here, so it will be 5 members, but you can't just start this up because you're not able to use your poke. Perklo's already at half health. They're the one getting poked down. Now the teleport comes through. It is going to be this continued fight here. Lamb's Respite, though, is not available. Lolo is in the middle of the fray. Bingo's there, but doesn't get the auto attacks down. The rest of the team has been wiped off the rift, and this will be the 5th and final member. It is a 5-0, Shinkara, and now this game has just gotten a heck of a lot harder for Mint Gaming to win.
Holy moly, what a Swain ultimate to start off that fight there. The initial engage from Leona, really good place to start, but you're engaging onto 3 members. Immediately, Myers had to pull backwards after that solar flare there to rejoin the team, but by the time they'd gone in to rejoin their team, guess who's there? It's Phil. Phil has had to press that ultimate there, and now they are just chunking through these red HP bars here. Swain is so incredibly powerful right now. And to have a team fight where they just have 3-4 people trapped inside their ultimate is death, right? We now see that kind of reflect in the score. You can kind of see Swain 6-1-4 right now, finishing up that Leandri's, more items to boot. This is so a good space for Swain to be in. I was going to say before even that team fight happened, I think even Mythic was beating MYNT at their own game. They had a decent amount of poke between Swain and Sivir that they were throwing out there in order to get those HP bars low so that when the engage finally happens, Swain, all he needs to do is press R.
Yeah, and it really was, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're starting to see why when all you have is poke, and the enemy's got enough that they can be doing it too. It's such a hard position to be in, and you absolutely called it out there, Shinkari, as well. It is so challenging for this poke comp when they get behind and they get out-poked, and you see that the onus of execution was on them. I was calling it out before that fight even started as well. They didn't have the setup. They didn't have the positioning. They didn't get the poke on the key members. They just tried to take a 5v5 on an objective with no setup, and that is not how this team comp has to operate for success. And I think it's hard to see how Mint Gaming can set up these objectives correctly because, yeah, I mean, you're getting out poked at your own game, and that seems like a hard place to be in.
Yeah, and I say this a lot whenever you see 2 team comps that do something very similar. Sometimes when you have 2 team comps that do something very similar, it either comes down to which team can either be more flexible in their execution or what team just pops off earlier. Sometimes if you're both trying to do identical things, your ideal scenarios look identical in team fight scenarios, and then it just comes down to who does the job better. As now, Gregan might be in some trouble here.
It's going to be Greg having to flash on out, but that Shirley is keeping him safe. And now Bingo has flash on the back end here. They found the back line. They found Bingo. Phil is soaking up lots of damage with that Swain ultimate. They found Tete Dury. Tete Dury now has to flash, but Swain's not in trouble at all. It is going to be Perklo going to the Lamb's Respite on the other end of the fight, but they want to try to get at least one, but the auto will not be there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's going to be Phil still alive, still tanking it up, still just one big bird. It ain't from Sesame Street, but it is Phil in the mid lane carrying the other side of the fight and forcing all these low health members back from Mint Gaming.
Yeah, and once again, this is you separated out Perklo here. Perklo goes a little too hard trying to finish off Greg there, but wasn't able to be successful, and then is stuck between Caswordy and Phil there, which, you know, are kind of in their ideal kind of scenarios here. Now Sivir wants a few more targets, especially with the static shiv here, but it's still just really, really tough to be in that scenario there. They were able to get a decent chunk of damage, nearly kill Caswordy there, but they might be in some trouble here.
Now this could be the angle. It's going to be Bingo. There's going to be the kill on to Greg. That's the kind of picks you want to try to find. The damage is there if you can burn the summoner spells. But now maybe you're staying too long because the rest of the team is going to be collapsing and the ultimates are coming up very soon for this Mythic Esports team.
Yeah, and this is a numbers tie right now. Poppy does have the teleport, but they haven't spent it yet. Donut Cake!
Oh my gosh, but Donut Cake so low, flash available, but doesn't matter. All it took was the one never move from Swain. And this immobile Void Champion is gone.
Yeah, and now this kind of provides a little bit of a better timer for for Mythic here. We got this dragon spawning in about 30 seconds. And for the next 10, Vel'Koz is still dead. So this is an angle where because Wordy, Phil, Lolo, all of them could be setting up around this dragon. But right now, Tate Dure in some trouble.
Oh, but Perklo doesn't have the ultimate available. Once again, Lamb's Respite is not there. The health bar blinking lower and lower. Nigos Montoya is in the area. It does going to flash around the wall, but does not get the stun. The Keeper's Verdict gets the knock up, and they're going to try to gift the kill. They do not. It is going to be Poppy who claims that one. A great cross map, recognizing you cannot take the dragon. You cannot take the team fight, but they do get a pick on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and this kind of gives the go button for Mythic here to pick up this dragon. So honestly, Tate Dure here making the best of this situation by just saying like, hey, like, you know, if you're just going to chase me down, then I'm just going to make you spend as much time possible trying to kill me. I'm just not going to sit here and let you kill me, right? I'm going to make sure that my team can get the dragon here. As Lolo throwing down that Nature's Grasp there. Are they looking for more?
Gosh. That's all it needs. That's going to be Lolo getting under tower. The flash was available again, but not going to use it. At least it is traded back, but the Rift Herald charge does get the inner tower in the mid lane. Might look for even a little bit more. Bingo trying to get the auto attacks down, and now the flank is here. The teleport is here. Perklo is here. Phil has the ultimate and will use that. One more auto attack will do it, but Nico Montoya might get on the back end. And look at that Lamb's Respite, keeping the team alive. There's the shield. Can they kill Phil? Can they kill Swain? 500 gold shutdown is theirs if they can kill him, but it looks like he might be winning out. It might be all Mythic Esports. A double kill for Swain, the unkillable bird in the mid lane. Looks like it will be the ravenous flock surrounding Swain and taking the team fight win, pulling that team fight from the depths of defeat and giving another win to Mythic Esports.
Llama, we saw that Lamb's Respite keep Perklo alive, but it also kept Phil alive while he's healing himself.
Yeah.
It was such a big ultimate. Phil was like, yeah, I'm not close to killing you, but this is going to heal me at the end of it. All I need to do is stand inside of it, and I'm going to be perfectly fine. You might get my 80 carry, but I'm going to kill your whole team. It doesn't matter if you're taking this. That fight went 2 for 3 there, and now they have Prio on this Baron here. They're just going to be able to take it so quickly. Look at this now. They have eyes on Kindred. Kindred's so far away, they can very easily peel off of this if Kindred gets close.
And Bingo's going to try to get a little bit of poke from over the wall. There is a life form disintegration rate available on Donut Cake. This might be the look. It's down to 1,300. It will be smited and secured from lower low. The fight that ensues will also be all Mythic all the time. It's going to be Myers, the second to fall. All 5 members still standing. The Baron was claimed. The kills were claimed. The gold lead, 8,000 now between these two teams, and with now only a push and a couple of towers between them and the finals of the Ionia Cup, it's going to be the teleport in the mid lane, and Mythic Esports is going to keep their pressure on.
They are... Look, Phil is popping off this game. Phil peeled off that Baron early to immediately walk into that side of the red team jungle, right? And immediately, the second that they saw Kindred show up, immediately pop with the ultimate, immediately start dealing damage, immediately respond to that Maokai ultimate as well. The rest of the red team looking to collapse here. There's the ace in the hole. Are they going to keep following?
Blocked by Lolo. Oh, and now here's going to be the Zenith Blade. They want to chase even more. Lolo's going to flash now. But what else is in the tank? You got poke, but if they're too far away to poke, you got nothing.
Yeah. And this is a really big peel back here. Swain didn't have ultimate, and this is kind of one of the downsides of Swain, is that if Swain had ultimate there, that was an immediate turn. 100% could not be an easier turn there. But Phil just doesn't have it, right? So in these moments, this is actually really smart by MYNT here to put a lot of pressure onto Mythic when Swain's ultimate is down, right? If there's any time to go against this team, it's when Swain's ultimate is down, and they did a very, very good job of pressing that. Did they get any kills? No. Did they save their inhibitor? Absolutely, and that's going to be their win for right now, because they're down 8,000 gold. I don't know if they can win a team fight, and it looked like one might be brewing right now.
But they don't have the damage. They don't have the help. Lolo's going to take down the support. Now the rest of the team has to run. You don't have your front line. You don't have your damage. The demon has ascended. Phil is here. Does not have flash themselves, but doesn't even need it to get over the wall. The rest of the team takes down Bingo. The push is going to continue. Myers going too far, is actually going to try to jump into it. It does avoid the W from Swain, but now the inhibitor will likely be the target. Inigo Montoyas does have the Keeper's Verdict, does allow the inhibitor to fall, and the mid lane is gone. The top lane is the next target. Inigo Montoya's just trying to kill these minions, trying to clear the waves. They're back onto the support, but that's not the carry you need. Perklo has the ultimate not off cooldown yet, and it's going to be Tete, Dore, and the rest of the Mythic Esports team pushing on forward. The inhibitor top lane might be the next to fall, but Baron minion still in the base for 15 seconds. You got to make your stand. You got to make it now if you're Mint Gaming here. One more auto attack on the inhibitor will be the second one to fall. It's going to be Keswordy getting that, and the team will disengage.
Yeah, they have Dragon on the map right now. This is an objective that they can very easily pick up, and it's a Hextech one as well. If they're not able to win soon, they can use the Dragon Soul as a win condition here. It's very strong, works very well as well with the static Shiv that Keswordy has brought here. That's going to be so much AoE damage that the Sivir is going to be doing in these fights. But it looks like Mint, they want to fight again.
This is going to be the fight, but they don't have the numbers quite yet. Myers is in the front line, but they've killed the Swain. The demon can be slain, and this team fight might be all Mint Gaming. Nikos Montoya is here. Greg is getting low. Lolo's in the backside, but he's only going lower and lower. It is a shutdown over to Kindred, but the base is in shambles. Take a look at Yone in the top side. Nikos Montoya is going to keep the chase on going. Greg is low. Keswordy trying to fight their way out with this Sivir Throne. The boomerangs from downtown. Perklo is now here to support as well. Greg, a couple more autos might do it, and they do get the kill, but Yone's in the base. Take a look at the top side. It's Keswordy getting it fall themselves. Nikos Montoya goes on a killing spree and then teleport back to the base. The Nexus tower is fallen, and Tete Dores out of the second, picks up another kill. It's
oh no, he's still tanking!
The top side, but now Myers is back, Perklo is back, and this Yone is forced to run. It is an ace. The Yone has fallen. 5 members have fallen. Mint Gaming holds on to the series, but maybe not for long.
Yeah, they're going to hold on for just a little bit longer, but take a look at this gold lead. We haven't really been able to have a chance to talk about it. 9,000 gold in the lead. This is some really scary numbers as Perklo. Oh no, that's so much damage there, but I don't think they're going to be able to seal the deal here. Phil is going to have to follow them over the wall or something, but they did have to stop Perklo from picking up that that little seal there, as now it's just really, really tough. I don't know how Mint Gaming comes back from this. It's a real tough situation to be sure. Maybe some mistakes from Mythic here will give them the opportunity to come back into this game, perhaps letting the Dragon Soul go and picking up Elder Dragon later, but that requires so much delaying that I don't think they're able to do. They can't even walk into their own jungle. Look at this Lolo, wasting no time. Here comes Nature's Grasp.
Nature's Grasp is going to go into tower, and they have a wave. This is the third inhibitor. This is the last tower standing before the last inhibitor, and Inigos Montoya trying to hold it by themselves here. The minion wave is gone. This might be the angle to fight.
No.
They're going to flash on forward. Myers does get onto this ADC, but will it be enough? Phil now with the demonic ascension, but the demon is gone again. The demon has been slain. The Slayers are Mint Gaming, and 5 members of Mint Gaming is still standing strong.
Yeah, and this is kind of a big deal here. Something that really important that happened in that fight is that Keswordy started tanking turret. There were a few tower shots, and you kind of saw Myers kind of go real deep there to try to get on top of Keswordy there, because they were at like 10% HP. They were looking really, really low there because of that turret aggro. And now, well,
uh-oh is right, Shinkari. Uh-oh is right.
Yeah. And so now what happens now is that they basically have to capitalize on this kind of advantage that they have right now, right? This Baron is the best place for them to be right now. Red team has to play defense. They have to be getting rid of a lot of these waves, which look at where Perklo now needs to be. Yeah. He's stolen in the past. Can he do it again?
Oh, doesn't have flash, but does have smite. Decides not even to try for the 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you still jump over the wall if you're Perklo there. I think you try. You hold the tower. You try to get the smite off. But instead, it does just survive. I mean, maybe you say, if I die, you can't hold the base. So, I mean, I think ultimately it is a safer decision.
I think the play was they were trying to put down Lamb's Respite on the other side of the wall to see if they could fit Baron inside the ultimate. but then they couldn't. So they didn't want to jump in without having Lamb's respite on the Baron.
Well, the inhibitors are just going to fall once again, and now the third inhibitor is the last to fall bot side. Myers is getting caught out and already down to half health. They decide this is the time they need to fight. I don't know if they can do it. Keeper's Verdict getting channel does knock out the Yone, but will it be enough? It's going to be Perklo having to flash away, but Phil is massive. Donut, cake, donut, no nothing. The rest of the members are still alive. It's going to be a clean ace. 5 members will be alive as the Nexus falls, as Mint Gaming falls. It's a quadra kill from Keswordy, and we're going to see Mythic Esports in the finals.
Yeah, what a well-played game by Mythic there. So incredibly well played. They played, like, Phil popping off in that game was so incredibly good for their team. So many good Swain. I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to show the league client really quickly here. Normally I don't do this, but look at that damage from Swain right there. 34,789, highest in the game, highest on the team. 10, 3, and 14 on the killed KDA ratio for that game. Holy moly, what a force to be reckoned with. And let's not I don't want to downplay this either. Keswordy is kind of like a secret, like, oh, they also did a buttload of damage too. That Sivir was really good. Second highest damage in the game there. 30,009, 2, and 14 on the Sivir. Holy moly, the stat lines on this game are so incredibly good.
And you saw how it played out there as well, right, Shinkari? It really was the poke. Sure, you got some damage down, but they can take it, right? Like
Yeah.
this Mythic Esports team was able to just absorb and take all of the damage that was getting thrown at them from MYNT Gaming. And MYNT Gaming just didn't have enough to burn through all of these members to get the kills. And they had angles. They had a couple options again, but we said that in game one. But ultimately, the stronger team on the night was undoubtedly Mythic Esports.
Yeah. And this is and I have to say that they did start to really show signs of life, but it was way too late in the game. We can kind of, if you took note of it while I had the client up there, Vel'Koz 30,000 damage, right?
Yeah.
If we saw that he was able to take down Phil like pretty, Donake was able to take down Phil like pretty easily towards the end of the game. But you know, if we're looking at a 30 and a half minute game, and at minute 28 you're able to kill, or minute 29 rather, you're able to kill the enemy Swain. You know, that's great and all, but we would have liked that maybe 10 minutes ago. So you know, it's not like they did anything particularly wrong. I don't think MYNT Gaming did like anything 100% incorrect here. I don't know how I feel about the Leona pick. It was executed fine, but at the end of the day, like, this is a team that like wants to kind of just play a little bit more patient. And you know, Perklo played real well. Nico Montoya played real well as well. There was like one time where Keeper's Verdict like went off and it didn't hit anyone, even though it clearly looked like it hit someone. So that was weird. I don't know if you remember. It was like one of the fights around the mid lane inhibitor, and it clearly looked like it hit someone and it didn't land. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of inches. It really
Yeah.
did feel like that, like you're saying too.
Yeah, but once again, like, this is Mythic Esports played this game so well. And you know, after the gauntlet that they've had, you know, being knocked down like fairly early on in the bracket, and then having to do their rematch last week against Rude Awakening, they're now moving on to fight Elysium Dawn, the third seed or the fifth seed of this bracket, coming into this the last round here, which is going to be a best of 5, which needs to be which I think needs to be done by next week. So maybe we'll get to cast that game as well. But this was certainly a really good game today, and I'm looking forward to see how they're going to be finishing strong for their last match of season 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you said, this is one of the last matches of season 16 here, as season 17 is also getting underway. So there'll definitely be lots more games coming here on Style Esports, but you definitely don't want to miss this Ionia finals. As you were saying, it's a best of 5, $250 on the line for first place as well. So, you know, we're not shaking a stick at this at all. It is a single elimination, so it will be winners take all. as you said, Elysium Dawn moved their way through the whole upper bracket, but that strong contender, as you said, Mythic Esports fighting all the way back. Big congratulations to them, guaranteeing at least $100 in their name as well for the team. But it's all going to be on that grand prize. We'll see if that match can also be here on Style Esports. But for now, Shinkari, that's kind of going to do it for us.
Yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We've got League of Legends action for you to watch nearly every single week for you to tune in, just like the game you saw today. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button. It helps keeps the lights on here at Style Esports. Or from everyone here at the Style Esports live broadcast crew, myself and Llama, my co-caster for this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.